Thank you so much for joining. This is our first afternoon tea at SME. Typically, every school has a coffee with the principal. I found that the morning time was challenging for families. So coffee with the principal turned into afternoon tea. So afternoon tea at SME is a monthly meeting that I host. It's a chance for families to get to know what's happening here at San Miguel, ask me any questions, learn more about the wonderful things that we have coming up. So I hope that you'll join us. I will publicize these dates as time goes on, but we do meet about once a month, depending on school holidays and whatnot. So please feel free to use the chat if you would like for any questions. At the end, I'll also just give everyone a chance to unmute and ask any questions that way as well. But until then, if you would like to use the chat, that'll be the best way to just ask questions throughout the presentation. So this is me. I'm Julie Jones. I'm the proud principal here at San Miguel. My information is up on the left-hand side if you need to get a hold of me. My email is just jjones@lemongrovesd.net. All of our staff emails end with @lemongrovesd.net, and typically it's first initial and last name. So if you want to get a hold of our folks, that's always a great way to do so. But that's my information right there. So here is our brief but packed agenda. We'll have information about just welcome to San Miguel Elementary, what we've got going on this year, people that you'll get to meet, a lot of information about health and safety. I know that's on a lot of families' minds just up front, how we're keeping kids safe at school. And then we have a little bit of information to share on Title I funding and parent involvement. And then making sure that you guys know how to stay connected with us here at San Miguel, because we always have lots of things going on and lots of good information to share. So here's our agenda for the afternoon. Oops, sorry guys. I am going to show you a video. We actually had an online kindergarten orientation on Monday. And even though this is a kindergarten geared video, there's really good information for parents to see who may not have a kindergartner, just to meet some of our folks and to learn a bit about our coming onto campus procedures. So even though this is kindergarten orientation video, I'm going to go ahead and show it to everybody. So here we go. Welcome to kindergarten. I'm Mrs. Jones, your very, very proud principal here at San Miguel. We're so excited to have you. I'm sorry that we can't be here in person for orientation, but we've got some really important people for you to meet. Let us know if you need anything, because we're always here to help. And welcome to kindergarten.
Welcome, kindergartners. My name is Mr. J. I'm your assistant principal. I'll be that really tall guy walking around campus, and you'll see me and we can say hi. So excited to have you here. We understand that kindergarten is an important time, and we're ready to make it as fun and safe and smooth as we possibly can for you. So welcome on board.
Hi, welcome to San Miguel. I'm Mrs. Harville. I'm the school secretary. If you ever need anything, come to the office. Thank you. Welcome to kindergarten.
Hi, I'm Miss Aguayo. I'm the health clerk here at San Miguel. Let me know if you need a Band-Aid or an ice pack, and I'm here to assist you. Welcome to kindergarten.
Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Rowland. I'm your senior custodian here at San Miguel Elementary.
I'm his tag team partner, Albert Flores, my custodian.
And we're here to welcome you back to school, and we're going to have such a wonderful year with so many things going to go on this year.
So we'll see you soon.
Adults at home, you may have questions about how to get your children to school. If you are choosing to drop off, we ask that you head this direction on San Miguel Avenue. You pull into our traffic circle. You take your car all the way down to the next available space. Don't worry, we always have adults flagging you down. You put your car in park, your child heads out of the vehicle, goes to the gate, and then you head off with your day. If you choose to park, please make sure that you do so in the main staff parking lot. Easy peasy. Since we all
can't be here at San Miguel for orientation, I wanted to make sure that you knew how to come into school. So kindergartners, you are going to enter through this gate right here. Adults at home, you'll see the classroom building is right over here. You'll be able to see your kiddos through that gate. And my kindergarten friends, you're going to walk in this gate. There's going to be lots of people here saying good morning. We're so glad that you're here, making sure that you've got your mask on. And anyone in Miss Cruz and Miss Virgin's class, you're going to head right in here and your teacher will be here to welcome you from these doors. Anyone in Miss Via's class, an adult will be right here waiting to walk you to room 21. So see, super easy. So my kindergarten friends, you know how to get onto campus, but adults at home, since right now we're not able to have any visitors and volunteers, if you should need anything, come right to the front office, ring this doorbell right here, and one of us will be out to help you in just a minute.
All right. So I know that that was kindergarten, but I thought it was important for you at least to see some friendly faces here at San Miguel and learn a little bit about our getting on and on campus procedures. So here is some big picture information about San Miguel in terms of who we are, why we do what we do, and what we believe. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but we ground ourselves in our mission and our vision and our motto, and this drives the money that we spend, the choices that we make, and the things that we do. We also are a Leader in Me school. If you're not familiar with Leader in Me, it's a program based on Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Happy Kids. And everything we do is about Leader in Me. So you'll hear your kids talking about the habits. You'll see information coming home about the habits. We'll ask you to take surveys about being a Leader in Me school. But this is all about teaching kids life skills, finding their voice, being proactive, putting first things first. We ground everything we do in Leader in Me. And this year we're actually applying to be a lighthouse school, which means that we have reached a level of Leader in Me implementation that far exceeds the majority of Leader in Me schools. So we're very excited about that. Lots more information to come, but we encourage families to get involved with those habit conversations. So if you haven't heard about that, ask your child. A little bit of information about when kids come on campus, what they should have on them. So no uniforms are required. We are no longer a uniform school. We definitely have a dress code that's enforced. That information is going to come out in our family handbook. It's also on our website, but no uniforms are required. We do encourage students to wear San Miguel red on Fridays. We call it San Miguel red, but it's red. On Fridays, our school colors are black and red. And you'll see a photo of a lot of our staff in red shirts. That was a Friday from last year, Leadership Day. The most important thing though, when you're like, well, what does the dress code mean? What can they wear? What can't they wear? Really, the big picture is clothing must be safe for recess and PE and appropriate for the classroom. So anything that distracts from learning or distracts from instruction is not to be worn here at school. And if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to give us a call here at the office. And again, guys, if you have questions throughout the presentation, please go ahead and use that chat feature. And then, like I mentioned at the end, we'll have a chance to unmute and ask any questions as well. So speaking about what we need from you, we also need to make sure that we always have the most up-to-date information on your child. And this includes contact information, emergency contacts, immunizations, any medications that they need. Please, please, please always make sure that if something changes in your child's life, that you let us know here at school. It's really important that we stay up to date, and we've got lots of ways to do that. Speaking of health and safety, we're going to segue into what's happening in terms of keeping kids safe and healthy here at school. A lot of this information is from a district town hall that was held a couple weeks ago on Zoom. If you were present at that, this may all look very familiar to you, but it's always good to review it. We have a COVID testing program available. This will start next week. It will be here on campus. It will be during the school day. It's free of charge. There's nothing that parents have to do other than sign their child up, and we'll be sharing information with you on how to do that. But it is an optional testing program for students, and I really want to emphasize the word optional. It is not required that students are tested, but should parents choose to, you can have your child tested here at school during the school day, and then you will get the results either way from the lab. Staff, at this time, it's not required that staff are vaccinated, but it is required that staff either present proof of vaccination or engage in weekly COVID testing. So it's one or the other. We have a lot of staff here on campus that are vaccinated that are choosing to engage in the testing anyways, and that's their choice. But again, the requirements for staff is that they must be either provide proof of vaccination or they must engage in weekly testing here on site. And again, it's completely optional for students. There are two options in terms of the saliva test versus the nose swab test, but I'll tell you the amount of saliva that students have to produce is a little bit overwhelming, especially for our little ones. So most students have preferred to do the nose swab test, and it takes about 30 seconds. It's really easy. And we always have adults in there with them supervising that. So look for information coming from us in terms of how to sign up for that if you are interested for your child. However, like I said, it is completely optional for kids, completely optional. Something that isn't optional is hand hygiene. We talk a lot here about washing our hands and sanitizing our hands. It's literally built into every classroom schedule throughout the day. For example, one of the common protocols is when kids go out to recess, they sanitize on the way out and they wash on the way in. But before and after meals, anytime that they're sharing materials, anytime that they use the restroom, anytime that they sneeze or are touching their face, we're encouraging kids to wash and sanitize their hands. And this is required throughout the school day. And we've got, if you were able to come on campus, you'd see that we have outside hand washing stations literally in every hallway. So we make it very easy for kids to be able to do this. And another thing that we really have to consider as well is the way that we have students spaced inside and outside. Updated guidance from the Department of Public Health no longer requires that students are 6 feet apart as long as other universal cautions are in place. For example, frequent hand washing and wearing a mask indoors. And if you have those things in place, while physical distancing is encouraged, it's not required. So whenever possible, we do try to spread students out when they're inside, definitely when they're outside at the lunch tables. And then we also have students in cohorts out on the playground. So students play on the playground in their zone of the playground with their classmates. So rather than all 60 sixth graders playing together in one area, we've got them spread out across our whole entire field and blacktop in order to minimize students crossing traffic, which helps us with any necessary contact tracing that may need to happen. So any questions about this, I would ask your teacher directly about what that looks like in the classroom, but we are taking lots of precautions to make sure that students are separated when possible. One of the great things right now is that students don't have to wear masks outside. It is optional, although today the majority of students kept their mask on during recess in the hallways, all of that good stuff. But we have additional precautions in place should they choose to have their mask off so that we keep physical distancing. All right, so as I mentioned, masks are required for all staff and all students while they're indoors. This is a non-negotiable unless there's a medical exception. When students and adults are outside, they do have the option to wear their mask or to take it off. We have many masks available for kids if they forget it, or if it breaks, or if they need a new one. So we will always provide them to students, but we do encourage them, if possible, to bring them to school. But again, indoors, unless there's a medical exemption, it's just a non-negotiable that our staff and our students have to wear masks. That's according to the research, that's one of the most preventative measures that we can implement to reduce the spread of COVID. Alrighty, guys, don't forget to use the chat if you have questions. We'll definitely be unmute at the end, but if you have questions throughout, please don't hesitate. Another thing that's we're continuing this year is that we do an active health screening when students come onto campus. So when they get to their classroom door, the teacher takes their child's temperature and asks a series of health screening questions to make sure that students are able to come on in. All of the thermometers are non-contact. They're the ones that you use on the forehead and just do a little beep, beep. And if anyone's temperature is over 100, they come right to the health office and we do some additional screening. But as long as everyone's answered the questions in a safe way and their temperatures are good, then students head into class. And here is a list of some of the things that we have to consider during the health screening. We always have to consider whether or not students have a runny nose or a cough, if they have shortness of breath, a sore throat. So this is all part of the active screening process. And I really encourage you that if for any reason your child is presenting with any of these symptoms at home, that you don't send them to school. Because if they come to school with these symptoms, we must send them home. And we must send them home until they either have a negative COVID test or until they quarantine for the required amount of days. So we take our students' health and staff health very, it's our top priority right now, especially given the situation of where we're at. So, but this is what we look for in terms of symptoms. If you, I will be sharing this online, so you'll have access to these slides. And if you click on those blue links right there, they are live links and they take you to district resources. If you would like more information, the first one is the health and safety presentation that I mentioned that I lifted these slides from, and that was on August 11th. And then there also is a video that we made way back in March when students first came onto campus for hybrid. And it's a much longer video. It's about 8 minutes long, and it's got all of the protocols that we followed. And most of them we still follow in terms of moving around campus and health screenings and all of those things. So when I make these slides available to you, these will be live links. However, if you're eager to take a look before then, the first link is available on the website of the district website. It's actually a pop-up. And then the second one is on our Stallion Station YouTube channel. So if you catch any of our YouTube videos, you can find that return to hybrid video there. But again, I will make these slides available to you. All right, so just to carry on with the health and safety conversation, we want to make sure our students are healthy as well as safe. And one of the ways that we ask for your support is our arrival and departure procedures. So today was really hectic. It was the first day of school and kids weren't sure what class they were in. It gets much smoother. So if you were out there this morning or after school today, thank you for your patience. We really appreciate it. We have to insist that if you want to walk your child to the gate, that you park and that you walk them. We allow anyone to park in the traffic circle. That's our place for pickup and drop off. Gates open at 7:45 and they close at 8 o'clock because school officially starts at 8 o'clock. So anyone that comes in after 8, we must do their health screening here in the office. Breakfast is available for students between 7:45 and 8:05. So if students come early or right on time, they are able to have breakfast here on campus with us, and that's all paid for. So that's a perk to getting to school early and on time. And then dismissal looks very similar to arrival, just heading the other direction. So again, no parking in the traffic circle, only park if you want to walk up to campus. And then on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, dismissal is at 2:20. And every Wednesday, just like today, was 1:08 p.m. We only had a couple kids that didn't get picked up right away. So I'm happy that most parents got that memo because that is a really new procedure across the district. So every Wednesday is a minimum day with a 1:08 dismissal time. And again, just thank you guys for your patience this morning and this afternoon. It was a little bit busy, but it definitely gets smoother as the school year goes on. So any health and safety questions? That was a lot, and I'm kind of just throwing a lot of information at you guys right now. I don't see anything in the chat, but if anything does come up, please just drop a question in there. Okay, oops, wrong way. So a quick couple slides on Title I. Title I is a funding source that we receive from the federal government, and it is very specifically tied to our enrollment and groups of students that we enroll. We receive an allotment of money based on that student enrollment, and this year we received $76,384. We are required to tie that money to students that are Title I eligible. And for the most part, those are students that are learning English as a second language. So here are some of the ways that we are spending that money. Additional staff, additional hours in terms of teacher support, and then after school enrichment for our students, as well as during the day enrichment for our students. So it's really important that we share with you guys how we're using that federally funded money. And then part of this too is making sure that families know how different ways that we can communicate with them and how they can get involved. So in our family handbook that's going to go out very soon, you'll see a whole host of information about how to get involved here on campus. Some of the ways, the big ways that parents can do that or that families members can do that is by participating in our school site council and our ELAC, our English Learner Advisory Committee. There's a little bit of information here on the slides about what each of those are, but I would just encourage that if you are interested in getting involved here at San Miguel, just call me or email me or come to the office and say, hey, is Mrs. Jones here? I have some questions for her about how to get involved. So there's lots of different ways to do it, even though we're on Zoom right now. So I hope that you guys will consider participating in some of our parent committees and parent groups here at school. All right, so really the last piece of information I wanted to share is just more about getting involved and staying connected with us. There are lots of things that families can do. One of the biggest questions I get at the beginning of the year is, what can we do here at home? And here are some big ticket items that we have from our teachers. Just making sure that kids are at school on time all day, every day, that they're finishing any homework that they have. You're communicating with the teacher. Let us know if they're going to be absent for any reason. Also making sure that our kiddos are in a routine. We had a lot of friends after lunch today who were looking really tired. And I think it's because they're just used to their summer routine and staying up a little bit later or sleeping in longer. So making sure that kids are really in a routine in the morning as well as in the afternoon and evening. That's one way that we can really ensure their success here at school. All that kids have to bring is a backpack, a mask, and if possible, a water bottle. We take care of everything else here. So just making sure that you guys know you don't have to provide any school supplies. If kids have a particular pen that they want to use, yes, please bring that, but we take care of everything else here at school. We also have another really important parent group, our PTA, our Parent Teacher Association. There's information on the website, as well as once I make these slides available on how you can get involved. Again, if you have questions or are interested, just call me, just reach out, email, message me on Dojo. This is a really great way for you to learn about the wonderful things happening here at school. You can help us with events, even if they are virtual. And we also rely on the PTA to help us with certain fundraisers, which bring money back to all of our kids, which is always a great thing. So lots of ways parents can get involved and lots of ways that parents can stay connected. We probably over-inform, which I think may be overwhelming, but I just think it's so important for parents to know what's happening with their child at school. So we are on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and we have a website, and we're on Class Dojo. So if you are tapping into one of these modes of communication, you're probably getting the majority of our information, but it never hurts to have multiple ways to check in. I would say right now, Class Dojo is the most important. You should have gotten an invite from your child's teacher on how to do that. It's a specific code to get tied to your child's teacher and their classroom. It's kind of like Facebook with some text messaging capabilities to it, but we share whole school information, and the teacher also shares classroom information. And you can message privately with your teacher for individual student information. So if you only start one place, I would say start with Dojo. And if you haven't gotten connected yet, please email your teacher. And if you don't know their email address, call the office and we will get that for you. But I would say start with Dojo. And then Instagram's great, and our website's great, and our YouTube channel is amazing. So once you've got that first one, connect with some other ones as well. And that's all I have. That's really all I have to share. I don't have anything else. That was a lot. But that's all of the stuff that I wanted to make sure I got to you guys during this first meeting. So at this point, if you have had enough of me Charlie Browning, that's great. And if you're ready to head on with your day, I understand. If you have questions, you can use the chat feature. You can unmute. I am going to keep the recording going just in case there's questions that come up that we can have our other parents hear. But I am here at your disposal at this time. So anything from anybody? And if not, that means I've done my job getting you the information that you need. Well, I am here and I'm happy to stay on as long as anyone needs. Again, if you have questions, chat is great. Unmuting yourself is great. And if you don't, then thanks for coming. And we can't wait to see your kids again tomorrow. Today was a wonderful, 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 joyful day. So thank you for sending your kids to us. Anything else from anybody? Okay. So I'm going to assume that's a no.
It looks like you have some things in the chat
There's
box.
some things in the chat. They just popped up. Great question. Back to school night. Back to school night is in September. I don't remember the date right offhand. It is September 15th. And that will all be online as well. So we will be getting lots of information to you about how to do that. But September 15th is our back to school night. And Kathy, yes. You said quick question. Great question, Kathy. So the uniforms. So uniforms are forever no longer required. Last year during hybrid, it was kind of a temporary thing to make sure that families didn't have one more thing to pile on their plate, just given the nature of the world. But we as a school site did a lot of talking with families and students, did a lot of talking amongst ourselves as a staff, and we agreed that the uniform policy no longer served the purpose that it had initially served. So we are no longer a uniform policy, and I do not anticipate that that will change at all, unless there's something major that happens. So great question. Great question.
Can I just ask about the optional testing for the students?
Yes, absolutely.
How is that something where like the groups that are being tested would be pulled from the classroom, or like how does that work?
Great
There's more
question.
details on that.
Yeah, so we did, this was an option for students last year and we got in a pretty good rhythm, but it does take place during the school day. Now, typically the way we were able to make it work is that as students were walking to lunch, they cut in the auditorium really quick and did their COVID test. So we did as much as we could for students to not miss instructional time. And there are several different ways that we can do that. But they are pulled out of their class or, like I said, on the way to lunch to do that really quick COVID testing. And once they're checked in, which takes about a minute, that the actual test itself is only about 30 seconds. So it's a really quick turnaround, but we do our best to make sure kids don't miss instruction in their classroom.
Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely.
And one more question, is there like a menu of like the breakfast and lunch?
Yes, definitely. So there, right now, the menus are posted on the district website under nutrition services. They will also be going out every Friday. We send a newsletter home via email, and those menus are going to be a part of that newsletter as well. And it's a whole month. So you'll see a month of breakfast and a month of lunch, but they are available always on the district website as well.
Great, thank you.
Definitely, definitely. Any other questions? Anything else from anybody? Those are all really great questions to ask. Okay. Well, if not, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and stop the recording. And we are